The first time I saw her I thought I was dreaming. It was the middle of the night, sometime in late autumn. I'd been staying at a cabin deep in the Northern Territories. Off-grid solar-powered satellite internet when it worked, and no human contact for miles. Just the way I liked it. Came here to escape. To heal. The military called it psychological decompression, but to me, it felt like exile after years of service. After what happened in the Martian Ark War, the brass thought it was best I take some time. I agreed, though not out of loyalty, out of guilt. Then came the first full moon. I'd been sleeping, half drunk on the strongest homebrew I could make from local herbs, when I heard the growl outside. I thought it was a bear at first, maybe even a rogue Scov drone gone haywire. But what I found when I opened the cabin door was something else. She stood just beyond the clearing, her silhouette framed in silver moonlight. Fur-covered limbs, elongated digits with clawed fingers, muscular like a soldier but feminine in form. Her eyes, glowing violet, locked on mine. Then she turned and charged. I fell backward, scrambling for the plasma flare gun by the door, heart hammering. But she didn't attack me. No, she tackled something else. A shadow I hadn't noticed. A creature with too many legs and a chittering exoskeleton. It screamed like grinding metal as she tore it apart. I watched, stunned, as she stood over the carcass. Blood, black and steaming, covered her claws. She looked at me one last time. Then, without a word, she vanished into the trees. I convinced myself it was a hallucination. Isolation plays tricks on the brain, especially when you're not ready to face yourself. But the next morning I found the corpse. The thing wasn't from Earth. I knew alien biology when I saw it. Thick chitin, acidic ichor, bifurcated mandibles. It matched nothing I'd seen in my planetary database. More importantly, I saw her tracks. Barefoot wolf paws, the size of my hand, leading away into the forest. She came again the next full moon. This time I didn't open the door. I stayed inside, lights off, rifle loaded. I didn't want to provoke her, or scare her off. She fought again against two of those things. I saw it all from the attic window. Graceful, deadly, silent. Afterwards she looked up at my window. Not a word. Just those violet eyes and her heavy breathing in the cold. I knew then she wasn't just some local anomaly. She was protecting me. Over the next 6 cycles I began to prepare. I left meat out for her. Cooked raw, even dehydrated. She never took it. Then I left medical kits, bandages, topical regenerants. She used those. The next month, the gash in her side was covered in nanoband gauze. She was intelligent, discerning, and very, very real. I installed surveillance around the perimeter. I mapped the alien creatures she was killing. Some were camouflaged. One disguised itself as a dead log until she tore it apart. They were converging. Me. But why? I did some digging. Cross-referenced known alien fauna with Black Ops files from the Martian Ark, found one match. The Dravari, a parasitic species believed extinct after the Fourth Offensive. They plant spores in host minds, feed off fear, trauma, and guilt. The military called them psychic leeches. They were attracted to me, 'cause I was broken, and she was keeping them at bay. 1 month I waited outside. I knew she'd come. Had to try. When she arrived, half-crouched, tail twitching, muscles taut and breathing rapid, I stepped forward with my hands up. Please, just talk to me. Tell me why you're helping. I stared. I tried again. You're not one of them. Can tell. But you're not human either. Nothing. Just a soft rumble in her throat. Then she took 1 step toward me and stopped. Her clawed hand rose slowly, almost shakily. She placed it on my chest, over my heart. I didn't breathe. And then she was gone again. That night I dreamed of war, of blood and fire and the screams of my squad as the ark collapsed behind us, and of violet eyes, watching me in silence. Became obsessed. I scavenged deeper into military files, hacked satellite logs, even tapped old Martian recon data. I found a report, classified top secret, about a project called Lupa 9, a genetic experiment, splicing human DNA with Dravari-resistant species to create hunters immune to their psychic assault. Subjects were designed to survive in remote zones, blend in, protect targets marked for psychological collapse. It was a protection program. One name stood out in the data. Subject 9F Nova. That's when I started calling her Nova. The 9th moon she didn't come. I stayed awake until sunrise, pacing, checking the perimeter. No sign. No dead Dravari. The forest was too quiet. Then, at 3:11 a.m., a knock. Not a growl, not claws. Soft knock on the door. When I opened it, she was there, barely standing, fur matted with blood, her breathing ragged. She collapsed into my arms. I carried her inside, unsure what I was doing. Laid her on the floor, applied everything I had. Nanogel, stimulant patches, regenerant mesh. She didn't fight me. Just groaned faintly, eyes flickering. She stayed the entire night, unconscious. By morning, the bleeding slowed. He stirred, blinked, sat up slowly. "Nova," I said gently, kneeling. "Can you understand me?" She stared at me again, those same haunting eyes. But this time she nodded. My heart nearly stopped. "I want to help. Whatever this is, whatever you are, you've been saving me. Let me return the favor." She reached forward, touched my face. Then she mouthed one word. "Run." I didn't listen. Instead I built traps. Laid out sonic deterrents. Trip lasers. Gravity snares. I prepped the entire perimeter of the cabin with enough firepower to take down a recon tank. When the next full moon came, so did dozens of them. They burst from the trees like a flood, crawling, leaping, clicking in unison. Nova was already there. She didn't wait for them to come close. She charged. I watched through the scope of my pulse rifle as she tore into them. Loss. Muscle. But she wasn't winning. There were too many. I triggered the traps. Explosions lit the trees. Fire washed over the clearing. Screeches filled the air as Dravari burst like overripe fruit. Still more came. Nova faltered, falling to one knee. I ran to her. We fought side by side. Me with military precision. Her with savage instinct. Took 3 hits. She took 7. We won. Barely. In the aftermath, I collapsed beside her on the scorched grass. "You shouldn't keep doing this," I muttered through broken ribs. "You don't have to." She turned her head toward me, smiled just faintly. Then she did something I never expected. She spoke. Her voice was hoarse, rough, barely a whisper. "You were kind, Mars, to one of us." And blinked. "What?" She closed her eyes. "I was human. Once." The world tilted. "I volunteered. For Lupa. You were the only one who didn't treat us like tools." I remembered. A girl with dark eyes. Sharp wit. She'd passed me a ration bar before a firefight and said, "Don't die. You're the only officer who doesn't suck." I never saw her again. "Nova," I breathed. She opened her eyes again. "I'm not just protecting you. I remember you." We stayed together after that. I sent a message to an old contact, someone I trusted. The cabin became a proper outpost. Shielded, supplied, secure. The Dravari still came. Not as often, but enough. And every full moon, Nova still fought beside me.